We will continue working to make our armed forces one of the most modern forces in the world. At the same time, the focus on making India Atma in the defense sector moves with full speed. Come, मेक इन इंडिया। आइए हिंदुस्तान में निर्माण कीजिए। इलेक्ट्रिकल से लेकर के इलेक्ट्रॉनिक तक कम, मेक इन इंडिया। केमिकल्स के लेकर के फार्मास्यूटिकल तक कम, मेक इन इंडिया। ऑटोमोबाइल से लेकर के एग्रो वैल्यू एडिशन तक कम, मेक इन इंडिया। पेपर हो या प्लास्टिक कम, मेक इन इंडिया। सब सैटेलाइट हो या सबमरीन कम, मेक इन इंडिया। आज भारत कोविड की वैक्सीन दुनिया के अनेक देशों में भेजकर वहां पर वैक्सीनेशन से जुड़े इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को तैयार करके दूसरे देशों के नागरिकों का भी जीवन बचा रहे हैं।
It is to the credit of Prime Minister Modi that our request was considered on merit.
Tank with battle-winning efficacy. An armored fighting vehicle with 71 additional features. Superior firepower, high mobility, and enhanced protection. This is the upgraded Arjun Mk-1A main battle tank, indigenously developed by India. The Indian Army was handed over this third-generation tank by the country's Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, at a ceremony held in Chennai on February 14th. Arjun Mk-1A has been fully designed and developed by Combat Vehicles Research and Development Establishment, a laboratory of the Defense Research and Development Organization, along with 15 academic institutions.
We will continue working to make our armed forces one of the most modern forces in the world. At the same time, the focus on making India Atma in the defense sector moves with full speed.
The Indian Defense Ministry has cleared the induction of 118 Arjun Mk-1A tanks into the Indian Army, which would be worth around 8,400 crore Indian rupees, and would add to the strength of the force in land warfare. After a successful final trial held in Pokhran, Rajasthan last year in December, these tanks will now join the fleet of the first batch of 124 Arjun tanks, which have already been inducted into the army and deployed in the western desert along the Pakistan front.
The moment order is placed, it will take roughly 2.5 to 3 years for the first tank to roll out. Subsequently, every year 30 tanks can roll out. So this is the thing, possibility. And then that means all 118 tanks can be covered within a period of 6 to 7 years.
So, what makes the Mk-1A different from its predecessors? The 71 additional features include 14 major and dozens of minor upgrades. The tank is equipped with a day and night computer-controlled integrated fire control system that helps it to stabilize its sighting. It is known for fin-stabilized armor-piercing discarding sabot ammunition, which means it can destroy all kinds of known tank armor. Another highlight is its 120mm caliber rifled gun that has a lethal range of up to 3,000 meters. Another achievement, the latest version has 54.3% indigenous content as opposed to 41% in the earlier model. The Defense Ministry is now focusing on bringing down percentage of imported components in indigenously developed military platforms and weapons systems. The upgraded MBT is widely regarded as India's answer to the Russian-made T-90S Bhishma tanks that currently form the bulk of India's armored vehicle regiments. The Make in India program is primarily being driven by the need to reduce arms import bills and optimize defense expenditure. In September 2019, Rajnath Singh became the first defense minister to fly in the indigenously built Tejas fighter aircraft. He took the sortie in order to boost the morale of those who have been involved in the development of the aircraft. On February 2nd, he inaugurated the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited's second light combat aircraft production line in Bengaluru. The LCA Tejas is indigenously designed by the Aircraft Development Agency of DRDO and is manufactured by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. During the recently held Aero India International Show 2021 in Bengaluru, the Indian Defense Ministry sealed a 48,000 crore Indian rupees deal to procure 83 Tejas light combat aircraft from HAL. This deal is the biggest ever in India's indigenous military aviation sector.
दोनों टेक्नोलॉजिकल और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर में हम आत्मनिर्भर बनना चाहते हैं। यह संदेश केवल भारत की सीमा तक ही नहीं रहेगा, बल्कि दुनिया के दूसरे देशों तक यह संदेश चला जाएगा कि भारत को आत्मनिर्भर भारत बनाने में गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया बहुत ही गंभीर है।
In 2018, WION visited the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited's manufacturing unit in Bengaluru to see the indigenous aircraft up close.
This is most modern and most sophisticated cockpit in Indian Air Force. Cockpit, the moment you enter, you are sitting on a Mark 16 seat. इसमें कोई sitting comfort level is very high.
A single engine and highly agile multi-role supersonic fighter aircraft, Tejas is capable of operating in high-threat air environments. It can hold one trained fighter pilot and now comes with the modifications that the Indian Air Force had sought. Its combat radius is 500 kilometers, which means it can travel half 1,000 kilometers to accomplish its objective and return to the airfield. And it can travel 6 times that distance when not in combat mode, and can attain a speed of 2,000 kilometers an hour. More than 60% of the jet is indigenous, be it the electronic hardware, the head-up display, or even the metal used for its production. It is expected to become the backbone of the IAF fighter fleet in the future. In October 2020, the Indian Navy added the last of the 4 indigenously built anti-submarine warfare stealth corvettes to its fleet. The combat-ready INS Kavaratti was formally commissioned after completing sea trials of all the systems fitted on board. They are the first anti-submarine warfare stealth corvettes to be built in India under Project 28. Its state-of-the-art weapons and sensor suite are capable of detecting and prosecuting submarines. It is indigenously designed by the Indian Navy's in-house organization, Directorate of Naval Design, and has almost 90% of indigenous content. Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers, Kolkata, has built the ship with indigenously developed special high-strength warship-grade steel. Kavarati has portrayed the growing capability of the Indian Navy and the country in becoming self-reliant. Last year, Indian Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, in partnership with policy think tank Niti Aayog, launched the Digital India Atmanirbhar Bharat Innovate Challenge. The goal was to identify the best Indian apps that are already being used by citizens and have the potential to become world-class apps in their respective categories. 6,940 tech entrepreneurs and startups participated in the competition, and the winners were declared in 9 categories. Among the winners in the social app category is Chingari. A popular alternative to China's TikTok that was banned by the Indian government in June 2020. The makers of Chingari stated that it reached a milestone of 30 lakh downloads in just 10 days and witnessed about 500,000 downloads in 72 hours. The social entertainment application crossed over 25 million users on July 21st, 2020. Chingari is now available in about 50 countries in over 10 Indian regional languages. A similar spike in demand was witnessed for other video apps as well, like Reposo, Metro, and many others. All of them gained popularity after 59 China-based apps were blocked by India for security reasons. But ever since Prime Minister Modi announced the Vocal for Local initiative during the coronavirus lockdown in May 2020, Indian startups have been in a race to develop rivals for TikTok. Koo also made the cut for the top 3 apps in the social app category. This homegrown Indian microblogging platform is being regarded as a rival to Twitter.
It was just a case of, some sort of readiness meeting an opportunity in this case. So the response has been overwhelming. We didn't expect it to grow this way, but there's been a lot of love from the users, from the creators, from the celebrities, and there are people from all walks of life joining the app, trying to connect with each other. It's just very heartening to see all of this happening.
Reports suggest that top government officials are likely to use this social platform to communicate with the public. Twitter has found itself in a fix with Indian authorities, who wanted to take down accounts and posts that are spreading misinformation about the farmers' protests against new agricultural laws. The government has warned the US social media major of penal action, including jail term and fines, if it continues to ignore the government's directive. The app has gained over 3 million downloads, according to its co-founder.
Growing emotion among Indians wanting to be self-reliant after PM Narendra Modi's talk about India's move towards Atmanirbharta, right? I think it's a statement of very clear intent that we don't want to be dependent on anybody, right? And I think a lot of Indians vibe with that emotion.
In the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, apps were launched with a simple concept. Your phone should alert you if you'd crossed paths with someone who later tested positive. And India was among the very few countries to launch its own contact tracing application for COVID-19. The government of India has been encouraging everyone in the country to download the Arogya Setu app on their smartphones. It quickly became one of the most downloaded mobile apps in the country. In the absence of physical classrooms, e-learning got a major push during the pandemic. In the e-learning category at the Atma Bharat Innovate Challenge, Disperse, Kutuki Kids Learning App and Hello English Learn English took the first, second and third positions respectively. India has emerged as the fastest growing app market in the world with 19 billion apps downloaded in 2019. It has overtaken the US as the world's #2 market in app downloads. The opportunity is huge. India is also one of the largest app publishers in the world, and the developer community in India have the potential of making apps that can be the best in the world.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
June 5th, 2017. The Indian Space Research Organization successfully conducted the first developmental flight of India's heavy lift launch vehicle, GSLV Mark III. It was a landmark mission, even more so than the hugely popular Mangalyaan or Chandrayaan space missions. The new geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle Mark III heavy lifter is envisioned to end Indian reliance on foreign launch vehicles. Earlier, ISRO had to depend on foreign launchers for communication satellites weighing more than 2,300 kilos. 2 years later, India's heaviest rocket, GSLV Mark III, nicknamed Bahubali, lifted off successfully from Sriharikota on July 22, 2019. Carrying the Chandrayaan-2 mission, India's second mission to the moon. ISRO has achieved various feats, including building satellites, ferrying foreign satellites up, and has even succeeded in reaching Mars in its first attempt. India's space program also stands out as one of the most cost-effective in the world. Chandrayaan-2 has been lauded for being cheaper than producing the Hollywood movie Avengers Endgame. While Mangalyaan is considered to be the most affordable mission to Mars in the world. 2/3 of the parts for the Indian probe and rocket were made by domestic firms and state plane maker Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. The Indian companies that built most of the parts are now using their expertise in frugal space engineering to compete for global contracts. All eyes are now on the Gaganyaan project that will be again launched by GSLV Mark III. With a population of 1.3 billion people, India is the second most populous country in the world. More than 10 million people in India have been infected by the coronavirus so far. And over 155,000 lives have been lost. But India is fighting back and has a role to play in the global vaccination program. As Pfizer, Moderna and Sputnik V vaccines dominated the headlines in the United States, UK, Russia and Europe, India came up with 2 vaccines, Covaxin and Covishield. Even before the pandemic, Indian vaccine companies had been manufacturing 60% of the world's vaccines. This is Serum Institute of India, the world's largest manufacturers of vaccines. Most of the COVID-19 vaccine exports comes from here. The Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, which is known as Covishield, is being manufactured locally by the Serum Institute of India. This vaccine has been made from a weakened version of a common cold virus from chimpanzees. Covaxin is a homegrown government-backed vaccine developed by Bharat Biotech, a vaccine maker. It is an inactivated vaccine made by using a sample of the coronavirus, isolated by India's National Institute of Virology. India has administered the COVID-19 vaccine to 8.4 million people in 1 month, since launching the world's largest vaccination program on January 16th. The government has trained 2,360 master trainers, who in turn have trained 61,000 program managers, 200,000 vaccinators, and 370,000 other vaccination team members so far. By July this year, India hopes to vaccinate at least 300 million people. Though Covaxin is yet to finish its Phase 3 trials, India's supplies of made-in-India COVID-19 vaccines have gone to more than 20 countries, including its neighbors: Bangladesh, Myanmar, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, and even to far-flung countries such as Brazil, Canada, and the Dominican Republic.
India provides vaccines to the world. We are, of course, a significant source of supply to the COVAX facility. But in addition, India is also directly sending vaccines to our friends and partners. Starting with our immediate neighbors, 25 nations across the world have already received made-in-India vaccines.
The coronavirus pandemic and containment measures plunged the global economy into deep contraction. It also exposed the vulnerability of existing manufacturing supply chains. China, considered to be the world's factory, is facing an unprecedented global backlash for the pandemic that originated from Wuhan. This global anti-China sentiment is a possible game changer for domestic players in India. India took advantage of this opportunity to bolster its industrial and commercial base.
विश्व की आज की स्थिति हमें सिखाती है कि इसका मार्ग एक ही है, आत्मनिर्भर भारत.
From Make in India to Self-Reliant India, the Indian government has put manufacturing at the heart of its reform initiatives. Atma Bharat, which translates to Self-Reliant India, has become a cornerstone of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's economic policy since its official introduction last year. Initiatives like Make in India and Vocal for Local have gained focus during the pandemic. But ever since Atmanirbhar pitch was made, there is a new ray of hope in the manufacturing sector. Recently, the government approved a 12,195 crore Indian rupees production-linked initiative scheme for telecom gear manufacturing in India. It is expected to create direct and indirect employment for about 40,000 people. From smartphones to TV panels, circuit boards to electric cars, the government has put into place targeted policies to enable the electronics industry to present itself as a viable alternative to China. And numerous brands continue to show faith in the India growth story. Tesla is closing in on an agreement to make electric vehicles in India for the first time, opening up a new growth opportunity after founder Elon Musk set up production in the US and China. Amazon too is opening its first manufacturing line in India. According to the company, the unit in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, will start producing hundreds of thousands of Amazon Fire TV Stick devices each year. With the Make in India program in 2014, the government was pushing for a one-size-fits-all solution in various sectors. But with Atmanirbhar Bharat, there is a targeted focus on specific sectors. By scaling up these manufacturing activities, there is little doubt that India can become a global manufacturing hub and realize the vision for a self-reliant India.